Hi, everyone. My name is Allie Robertson, and this is my research presentation. So my table of contents, first I'm going to talk about my research question. I'm going to talk about my abstract, move into my introduction, talk about my methodology, hit my results, and then finish with my conclusion. So what constitutes an effective math teacher? We're going to dive in and we are going to find out. My research question. Again, what constitutes an effective math teacher? We will hear those words a lot throughout this research, so I am sorry in advance. So this is $1 million question, that I knew I could find an answer for being a math teacher. I spent the past 2 semesters finding my own research through a survey, as I noticed when searching through a database, this topic was not talked about enough or just wasn't talked about specifically pertaining to math teachers. And so I just wanted to have my own research and article that talked specifically about the effectiveness of a math teacher. I knew that this would be a great self-reflection of my teaching practices, as well as a great resource for any future math team to look at, or just any mathematics educator. Although I hope that even if you don't teach math and you watch this, that you will be able to have some takeaways, even if you aren't a math teacher, and just find something that resonates with you. So now I'm going to go into my abstract. So this research dives into the characteristics of effective math teachers, drawing on original data collected through surveys. The study focused on 5 key aspects: collaboration, knowledge of TEKS and topics, student engagement, utilization of classroom math tools, and effective teaching strategies. Through collaborative efforts with educators, this investigation sought to identify the essential elements that contribute to teacher effectiveness. This research sheds light on the multifaceted nature of effective teaching. The insights gained from the study offers valuable implications for teacher professional development and curriculum design, aiming to cultivate a generation of adept and motivated learners in mathematics and beyond. Now we're going to move into my introduction. Some of these slides may be very lengthy in words, but I'm not going to read verbatim. I just thought if you wanted to know exactly what each one said, you can pause and read and then pick back up. So when conducting this research, there were 5 key terms that went with my research. It was effective teaching strategies, collaboration, knowledge of TEKS and topics, classroom math tools, and student engagement. We are going to see that again a lot throughout this presentation, even if you were to read my actual research paper. So these terms, I'm going to specifically heavily tell you, they were not disclosed with the participants, as I wanted to see if their answers would align with them. So with that being said, to the left is an insert from my research that summarized the introduction section, just a little short brief. So my research aims to explore the characteristics and practices that contribute to the effectiveness of math teachers. So we look at existing literature, synthesizing empirical studies, and analyzing real-world classroom scenarios. It seeks to provide insights into the qualities and strategies that make a math teacher successful in facilitating meaningful learning experiences for students. Okay, so I'm hoping this will improve the overall quality of mathematics instructions in schools. See if we can get a big impact with the research that I made. Now we're going to get into methodology. So the methodology methods that I had, again, this section explores the factors that define an effective math teacher. So teaching mathematics involves an understanding of pedagogical strategies, content knowledge, and the ability to create a positive and inclusive classroom environment. So really quickly, this research was conducted during the 2023 school year. There were 5 total participants, ranging from veteran teachers of 20 plus years, a teacher with 2 years of experience, and a teacher with 7 years as a teacher and 7 as a math specialist. The teacher of 7 years taught math. All of the participants were females. It was mainly female dominated. And I sent out a Google survey form that had 5 questions for them to answer. And as we continue to go, I'll hit those 5 questions before we get into it. I think it may be the next slide, and keeping in mind those 5 key terms that I talked about previously. So here are my research questions. So all these questions got sent on a Google survey. So question 1 was, what strategies do you use to foster a classroom of active engagement? Question 2, how should an effective math teacher communicate complex mathematical concepts to students with varying levels of understanding? Question 3, how can an effective math teacher address the diverse learning needs of their students? Question 4, what teaching strategies and methods are most effective in promoting math proficiency among students? And question 5, what do you think constitutes an effective math teacher? I wanted to get their opinion on that one specifically, but I kind of saved that one towards the end. So after presenting these research questions to them and getting their surveys back, I made a table that I broke down just for my notes, and I had the question, their response, and where it fell within those 5 key terms. And so when we get to the results section, I broke it down in the 5 key traits, and then I plugged in some of the participants' responses into that to justify why those 5 key terms are important in a math teacher being effective. So now we're going to get into the results. Okay, when analyzing the results of the participants, I noticed that each of the 5 key traits were used quite a few times. I know that there was one participant that all 5 key traits were used for every single one of their responses. Again, I also hit on this in here, it was not disclosed to them beforehand. So effective teaching strategies were mentioned 15 times, knowledge of techniques and topics were mentioned 10 times. Collaboration was mentioned 16 times. Classroom math tools were mentioned 8 times, and student engagement was mentioned about 15 times. So these traits play a key role in the effectiveness of being a math teacher. And without those being disclosed to the participants, you can see that just those key terms, they really impact a math teacher. So now this section of it, it's going to get lengthy, but again, I just really want to hit on what each participant said. And if you want to pause and read the little snippet I added after that, you can, it just kind of ties in their response and makes it just make a little bit more sense. But I'm going to read their responses, and I go through each 5 category key traits to talk about them, and I labeled them with each participant if the participant statement was added into that section. So this is effective teaching strategies. Participant 1 said, how can an effective math, or the question was, how can an effective math teacher address the diverse learning needs of their students? Participant 1 stated, a teacher can use alternative assessment strategies such as group work and projects to assess students' understanding and provide feedback about what the students have learned. Participant 2 stated, I do a lot of group work. As a math teacher, it is easy to address the diverse learning needs of students working in groups or small groups. I will mix assignments up, break questions down, and use multiple viewpoints and perspectives for each lesson. Okay. Those are great responses to effective teaching strategies. And as we continue to go, it gets better. I was very amazed by it. I put in there, with a strong foundation in math, students have a greater chance of succeeding. And that is why I wanted to do this. I wanted to just let every math teacher know, like, this is what I got in my research. This is what I noticed. And I think this is a great way into succeeding for all students across the board for math. Participant 4 stated, set students up for success. Work with their strengths rather than fight their areas of growth. Let them talk. Let them move on, let them make mistakes and learn from them. The correct/incorrect mentality of math causes many students anxiety when they don't understand. Celebrating failure as a successful step forward creates an environment that encourages risk. That response was great. I loved it when I read it. That one resonated with me so much. Like, celebrating failure as a successful step forward, that's great. I started doing that a little bit towards the end of the year, and I wish I would have started it earlier, but I was a first-year teacher. I'm learning as I go. So it's going to be nice to reflect on this research and put it into my classroom next year. So participant 5 stated through notes using scaffolding steps is the short answer. I would typically start with the big idea and engage the learners, maybe use a video for this, then ask them to brainstorm what prior knowledge they may have about the topic and what steps they might think is necessary. I would then use well-developed notes. So those are great responses that I got for effective teaching strategies, and we're going to move on to collaboration. So participant 2 stated strategies I have used that are most effective are hands-on practice, collaborative projects, getting students excited about math, positive reinforcement, and changing the mindset of math is hard. Oh, I also believe in self-reflection and individual student reflection. Changing that mindset, that is a big one. Getting them excited about math, hands-on. The more I noticed that students were hands-on in the classroom, especially with math, the more the math resonated with them more. It's like they were taking control of their learning, and I noticed that they weren't spacing out as much. Participant 1 stated using collaborative learning has been shown to improve students' understanding of mathematics concepts and to increase their motivation to learn. So I think that's big. Being collaborative in the classroom is very big. It doesn't matter what subject, especially math. Just collaboration is key. It is why that is one of my 5 key traits. So knowledge of TEKS and topics. Participant 4 just hit the nail on the head. Quality versus quantity. Do students need 10 practice problems that are all similar, or could they do 3 practice problems and then have 2 problems that are collaborative and real world based? Students learn more with quality instruction that stretches their thinking, not a larger quantity of practice. An overabundance of practice problems can hurt students in a variety of ways. 1, it is boring and they will become disengaged. 2, they may be practicing the computation or steps incorrectly over and over, which will lead to a deep misconception that the teacher will have to combat later. 3, it does not allow for constructive thinking, which is what I hear many teachers say that students struggle with. This is great when you are knowledgeable as a math teacher of the TEKS and topics. If you are just knowledgeable, even just about your students, you may notice that, do they need 10 problems? Would they be better off with 3, 2, 5? I mean, there's better ways to, I feel that we could go about it other than here's a paper of 20 homework problems. Go home, do them. I'm not going to grade them. I've seen that a lot. And if we don't hold students accountable to that, and we just give them a piece of paper to take home and do those problems, and we're not going to look at it, that's not helping me and that's not helping them. And if we want students to succeed, we have to think about quality versus quantity. Participant 5 stated, a teacher can use alternative assessment strategies such as group work and projects to assess students' understanding and provide feedback about what the students have learned. Looks like that was put into a different slide. We're just going to go to classroom math tools. Sorry. I really just wanted to hit on that quality versus quantity. So classroom math tools, participant 1 stated, a teacher could use visual aids such as graphs and diagrams to help demonstrate the concept going on in class at the time. Classroom math tools encourage hands-on learning, which is particularly beneficial for students who learn the best through experiential methods. By looking at participant 1's response, visual aids help students better understand complex mathematical ideas by making the concept easier to grasp. I taught 6th grade. Visual aids were a must. Graphs, diagrams, all of it. Anchor charts, manipulatives, hands-on, anything I could get there, hands-on. It was amazing. Participant 3, strategies I've used to foster classroom engagement are stations, scavenger hunts, and partner work. This is big. Scavenger hunts, stations, all of that involves math tools. It's just, I don't know how else to put it other than that. You're getting students up, moving around. You are using your math tools that you have in your teacher toolbox, and those students are going to be motivated and want to participate and explore mathematical concepts. Participant 4 stated, small groups and stations are great, but take a lot of time to implement effectively as a database strategy. However, this is the more effective strategy in my opinion, even if it is also the most time consuming. I do agree that is the downside sometimes of doing small groups and stations. But if they are implemented correctly and your classroom rules and procedures are ran and you have control of your classroom, I think that these would be great in implementing into your classroom. Student engagement. I am thinking this is the last one, so I hope you're still with me. Participant 1 stated, a teacher should create a positive learning environment in which students are excited to come and learn. When students feel comfortable in your room, they are more motivated to understand and learn complex mathematical concepts. A positive, enjoyable learning experience in the classroom can lead to increased confidence and enthusiasm for math. So that one is most important. Usually when you have a positive learning environment, everything falls into place. Participant 3 stated, knowing your students' gaps and learning and building relationships with your students will make you an effective teacher. I also think working with other teachers collaboratively, to brainstorm, that is key. Build those relationships. Those first 5 days, whatever your school district gives you, utilize those to create relationships with your students. When y'all have that relationship, it is amazing what those students will do for you. They will think that they can run through a brick wall for you. And it is amazing to see. And building those relationships, you get student engagement. You get all of it. They want to learn for you. And then participant 5 stated, start with building relationships with the students at the beginning of the year. Treat them with fairness and compassion and always be consistent. This builds trust. When students trust you and respect you, they will often stay engaged because they believe this assignment is always to make them better and always has a purpose. If that's not a great way to end student engagement, I don't know what will. That stands as a cornerstone in the success of mathematics education, guys. That was awesome. Participant 5 hit that spot on 100%. Conclusion, last one. I hope you're still with me. I honestly plugged in my conclusion paragraph in here. I just really wanted you to see what one of the participants said about that 5th question, which I didn't talk about it in my results section as much because I wanted to put it in the conclusion because this one teacher just had one that really resonated with me. So I've honestly been searching for an answer to this question. An effective math teacher is a beacon of inspiration, blending passion, patience, and empathy to ignite curiosity in students' hearts. They create a welcoming environment, breaking down complex concepts with clear explanations and real-world applications. Patiently listening and celebrating small victories. They empower learners to embrace challenges and believe in their potential. I asked this specific question to each of my participants, and this response really stuck. Okay. An effective math teacher is someone who is reflective about their practices without ego and willing to change their methods and or strategies. Someone who is confident in what they know, aware of what they do not know, and has a willingness to find an answer or solution. Math teachers can help students unlock the door to a world of possibilities, laying the foundation for future mathematicians, scientists, engineers, and critical thinkers. Their impact is far beyond the classroom. After that, I would say mathematics educators can be an effective math teacher in the classroom. And I feel like with all of this research, we were able to answer that. Thank you for watching and going along with me on this long presentation. But congrats on graduating, everyone, and good luck.